So once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sean Tan's 100K Jam Carnival that's happening now at M Hub Kota Damansara. Please, if you're still awake, give yourself a big hand. Woo! Cannot hear? Very good. Right, very good. I believe the session earlier was very interesting, where panelists asked some questions. We have the Q&A from the floor, and yeah, it was good. So without further ado, we will start our second panel discussion. Right after the end of the discussion, again, we will have Q&A, 3 questions. Of course, any questions more than that, you can hang out with the panelists or Sean after the discussion, because we will still be hanging out until 7 p.m. So without further ado, drum roll, please. You know how to do drum roll or not? Drum roll. It's okay. Let us all put our hands together to welcome Sean to be on stage. Come on. Drum roll, never heard before. Don't like that. Okay. Sean, how you feeling? Okay.
Okay, excited.
Okay, excited. Those people outside have to ask them to come in already, scold them.
Well, a lot of people can do pull-ups here.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people beat the 14 count. Just now you do 5 only, you know. And one lady do
7.
7. My goodness. Need to train more. I spoke to your coach just now. He said, okay lah, not bad lah, Sean. Never rebellious, follow order, you know. Very good. Fitness is one of the goals I think everyone should pursue. And without further ado, let us all put our hands together to welcome the second panelist, Mr. Faizal Rizwan, CEO of Far Capital, to be on stage. Come on. Put it up together for him. Right. And without further ado, Sean, hand over the floor to you.
You want to test mic first?
Testing.
Yeah. So, Mr. Faizal Rizwan, so hard to get him.
I flew from a different country just to be here today. Just in time.
Yeah.
For Sean.
Okay. Later he invoiced me, I takut. So, you came from Indonesia?
Yeah, Jakarta. Was in this place called Chikalarang or some shit like that 2 days ago. Then yesterday came to Jakarta and today back in KL. Yeah.
Wow. Well, appreciate it. Because cool fact, so many property developers all throwing events, all asking for your contact. Oh, Sean, they're like, I thought they want to ajak me. Oh, no, I want to ajak your friend.
I retired, so I told my team for speaking engagement, 50,000 per hour, so that they don't call us.
You see, I start to invoice already, giving sign already. 50,000, oh my God.
50,000, yeah.
Okay, so let's roll into it, because who got 50,000 faster? Okay, I want to ask you about the 7 criteria for property investment. I think everyone knows somewhat who has watched the Battle Royale weekly kind of thing. Right, I think it's solid, right? You know I'm not paid to do it.
No, he didn't get paid, yeah. He didn't get paid.
10 to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Wow. Yeah. But my question is, like, at what stage in your investment journey you realize these 7 criteria?
I have to say, right, I got very lucky. So people ask me, how did I make my money? I say I got lucky. And why do I get lucky here is that I bought my first property at 24, and by the time I hit 30, I bought like 23 properties. Then we had property bullrun, right? So when you had property bullrun, every single one of your unit make 100,000 to 400,000 profit. So I made 5 million profit before I even hit 35. So I didn't know there would be a property bullrun, right? And the reason why I got interested in 7 criteria is because they are properties that I thought will do very well, didn't do so well from a capital gain point of view. And they are properties that I thought just buy for fun, makes 300,000 capital gain. So I was very curious, can I make this a lot more predictable? Right? So that was the whole point, why 7 criteria was created. So it wasn't created because I was smart. it was created because I realized that I made my first pile of wealth because I only got lucky. So can I make it more predictable so that the next bull run comes, I can argue that I make 20 million and I didn't get lucky, right? So that was the whole idea. So, and I watched a lot of my mentors, right? So you think I'm great until you see my mentors. I buy 1 or 2, they buy 7, right? We went for a trip in Johor, right? My first trip in Johor. Never been to Johor, right? I was looking at studio unit, 99,000. Rental 1,000. Good ah? 99,000 ringgit studio unit, rental 1,000 in Johor. This is in 2009. I was with my mentor, right? I don't really like this property. But we already made all this trip here, spend a couple of hours. Now I just buy 2. So that was the story back then, right? Before Buran, right? So property went to 200,000. So 100,000 property became 200,000, right? But I know it was a fluke for him because if he liked the property and he knew he can make money, he buy 7. Buy 2 means I'm not very confident. Just because I'm there, might as well. I can tell my wife I did accomplish something today, right? So yeah, that's the reason. And I saw him move from apartments to condo, and he made, I think, 10 million as a lawyer, working full-time lawyer. He made more than 10 million out of property investment. Crazy. Then he began to buy bungalows, right? 3.5, 4 million bungalows. And those bungalows did not make money for the next 10 years. So whatever gain he made from buying all these small apartments, gone into the bungalow units, right? So 7 criteria was created so that I don't get greedy, I don't get cocky, I maintain certain level of value and some level of risk profiling. Because I saw what happened when you make a lot of money. So the good news for all of you is that most likely we're going to have a property bull run in the next 5 years. So a lot of you will make money. The cautionary tale here is that when you make money, can you put your feet still in the ground or you're going to start thinking like you are God? Right? Because we saw, right? What happened to people who think, I'm God, cannot lose money. So I begin to change what works for me to just simply buy. Doesn't matter what works for me because, that ended up becoming a downfall for everyone. So 7 criteria was created because I wanted to avoid them.
Okay. I feel so poor now. 7 for fun.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. Okay.
I mean, like, if you look at the project in the, it was Mammoth Empire at that point of time. If you remember the studio unit, right?
Yeah.
7. Right? 7 in studio, duplex, maybe buy 4 more. So yeah, crazy amount. And people just flipping property. I think he flipped a couple within a month for 50,000-60,000 gains. You know, at that point of time, you can buy a pate for 50,000-60,000.
Always bring out the pate story, you. Okay, but just curious, right, at that level, right, what would be the income like for this kind of people?
I don't think he was making that much. I think he's probably making about 30 to 40,000. But when you are a partner of a law firm, so it's based on law firm's income. You leverage against your law firm's income. Or if you're a partner of accounting firm, similar story. So it's like a business owner's level of income. So from a credit profile point of view, he could easily get a 10 million loan. 10 million loan before Buran is a lot of property, like a lot. Like easily like 60, 70.
So when I got into the property game, I was in the tail end of a property bull run. Like you went through bull run. Can you describe like what's
your fault? You're born too late. It's your fault.
No, my dad's fault.
Yeah, your dad's fault.
He didn't work hard earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry, ba. Later he getting in trouble. Okay, so how does a property bull run feel like? Now, what's going to happen?
There was a lot of, I would say, crazy humbrags. You know, humble bragging? People sold property, made 200,000, then, I also sold property, made 300,000, and then some people say 400,000. Huh? You only made 200,000. What did you buy? Like, kesian, no? You only made 200,000? Oh my God, kesiannya. So that's like common behavior, number one. Number two is people literally queue during launch, right? And people literally queue during launch. And certain developers have got this profile of wherever you have bought from them, all make money.
Mm.
So they will always have this level of queue, people pre-buying. So that was actually quite prevalent. I had a friend, today he's a Dato', right? Very wealthy fellow. And at a point of time, he was the head of a real estate agency. So he bought EcoWorld's project, 600 plus per square foot, I think in Jalan Kuching.
Mm.
I asked him, bro, and he was complaining to me about his property, negative cash flow by 1,000. So I asked him, bro, why did you buy this property? You know, a 600 ringgit per square foot is expensive, right? Actually, I'm also not sure. I saw a lot of people queue, so I queue.
Hey, they were not Singaporean.
Huh?
Oh, so no.
No, not Singaporean.
Yeah.
Malaysian in property industry.
Mm. Why?
That was
Bullrun?
the mentality at the point of time.
Mm.
If you buy from developer, no one lost money buying from property developer. Everyone make 50, 100, 200, 300,000. So it becomes fashionable. So that's signal number one. Number two, everyone is talking about it. Everyone is talking how great property is, right? Number three, not very popular thing to say, but suddenly everyone is a property guru, property expert, king of Iskandar, king of Medini, everywhere pop up, king of Gombak, king of this, you know. So all these ads suddenly pop up, right? And people are paying 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 for a property masterclass, private coaching shit. Those are common behaviors. So when you see that happening, so you already know the market is already at the tail end.
Okay, right now,
So I'm warning you guys what will happen in 5 years. You get to see it all over again. It's going to be very interesting.
Because we see that in stock markets, we see that in crypto, right? But just that property, I born in the wrong time. But ever since I joined property for the past 15, 17 years, all lose money. Never make before money. Okay. So in your system, you have the tiering system for addresses. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. For those who don't understand, you can watch YouTube channels, right? Property tiering system. What we like to invest in is Tier 1s, right? And there are a lot of new entries for the past 10 years. Any potential new addresses in your radar
For Tier 1?
for Tier 1?
I don't think so in the next 3 years. Because, you see, the difference between Tier 1 and Tier 2 is never the property prices. So the property prices in Tier 2 is actually comparably just as expensive as compared to some of the Tier 1s. So I'll give you an example, right? Why I decided to use the tiering methodology? Because it's a simple way to explain to you guys that Kota Damansara, being part of Tier 2, cannot be more expensive than Mont Kiara. Does that make sense? Right? Because the income level here is not high. Rental value here is also not very high. So for example, TTDI is just next to Mont Kiara, next to Bangsa. Bangsa, Tier 1. Mont Kiara, Tier 1. Why TTDI Tier 2? And the property price point in TTDI is bloody expensive. Harga Yahudi. Right? And if you compare the rental in TTDI is actually much lower compared to Mont Kiara or Bangsa. Right? Because of the presence of the expat community. So, when you look at it, you need to have a shift of demographic movement before Tier 1 can happen, number one. And number two, higher earning income power or maybe, for example, like Bukit Jalil today is pretty not too far away from becoming part of Tier 1, right? Because the people who bought 10, 15 years ago, maybe at that point of time, low-level manager, now today become VP, SVP, director. And we are all local people. We don't, you don't suddenly go from Bukit Jalil to suddenly say, I want to stay in Rawang. Right? It doesn't work that way. You try to buy somewhere nearby. Does that make sense? We are all lazy creatures, right? So we don't want to change. Right, so that's just human nature. So the developers all, by the way, they know this, which is why certain property in SS2 is priced at 1,000 per square foot and people will buy, even though it's tier 2. Why? Because they know they can target second generation people who parents used to see SS2, but want to be nearby their parents, right? They also know their parents all make money already. They will be happily paying 20-30% down payment for the children to be nearby so that the children can come and visit them every day, right? So developers are aware of this. And this is why tier 2 properties are very expensive, right? You see Kota Damansara today, some new launches, 1,000 per square foot. Leasehold some more. When you can buy prime Mount Kiara freehold, like Sean, at below 900 ringgit per square foot, at that point of time, Kota Damansara was selling 1,000. It doesn't make sense to us, right? Leasehold tier 2, income nowhere near 1,000 per square foot. He buys prime Mount Kiara 900. No contest. So after a while, then you will begin to see what happens when you pay tier 1 prices at tier 2. You don't make money. You confirm lose from a cash flow point of view, and capital gain can be quite questionable. You see the 1,000 per square foot property in Kota Damansara, in the last couple of years, did not go up. It maintained, potentially even dropped. All right? So this property was also interesting, right? At that point of time, was selling for about 700-ish per square foot, right? And we thought, does it make sense, right? So tier is to guide you to not overpay, right? So you buy tier 2 at tier 2 prices. Better still, you buy tier 2 at tier 3 prices, right? Should always underpay, not overpay.
Yeah, I think across the Battle Royale, like just now you touched about SS2, there's this observation that we share about the landed and high-rise typology, right? Maybe you want to share that again?
Yeah. So SS2 is very unique. So all of us can cumulatively agree, right, guys? Landed property versus apartment next door, the apartment has to be cheaper, right? Can we all agree? Because no one in their right mind will pay higher for an apartment, a box in the sky, versus a property that has got a land. Does that make sense? It's common philosophy, right? Now, this applies to most area, but it doesn't apply to SS2. So in SS2, your landed property opposite, those freehold property, is 1 million. Very old double-story house. Your condo opposite, 1.2 million smaller. No land. Right? So SS2 is the exception because of what we just shared. The people who buy are not buying for investment. They are emotional purchasers who buy this because I want to be nearby my parents. But at the same time, I don't want to say in landed SS2, which is number 1, old. Number 2, security is horrible. No? I visited a friend and I showed this story, right? And his neighbor got robbed while I visiting him, having a conversation. His neighbor screaming got robbed. I asked him, why don't you panic? Normal here. So it's like, if every 18 months your house belum kena pecah masuk, that means you are due. Right? So your time is going to come soon. So that's the level of thinking, right? So, and I've got a friend who parents stay in a bungalow in old PJ, right? So went for a three weeks UK holiday. House got broken into twice.
Ooh.
Right? So first time robber went in. I think maybe the robber said, you know what? I saw something I like. I forgot. Let me go in again a couple of days. So this is what happened in the older landed property in PJ whereby there's no security. So their kids, right, don't share the same sense of whereby I must have land. Right? Security is more important. You got people who are retiring, also downgrading from a landed property to go and stay in apartments.
Downsizing.
From a price point of view, it's more expensive, right? So it's not, from a size, yes. It does look at downsizing. Yeah. But from a price point of view, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I think it's like a competition of see who kena kecam more, but I think you're winning.
By far, guys.
But I think I spoke about this landed versus apartment high-rise thing. I think there will be a cap on individual title terrace houses that is non-gated. Right? Because when, like in PJ, due to old infrastructure, you will have inner roads, neighborhood roads that becomes main road. And you cannot just add in your palang. And as you grow, so like if you own a 1 million house, your household income must be about 12 to 15,000. At 12 to 15,000, don't you just expect the house to be secure and safe for the family? That's the minimum requirement for a house. When I say this, then the whole kampong jagao me lah. So yeah, so I'm just saying that when you pick properties, right, especially for landed, gated and guarded matters a lot. So just don't get too emotional driven where, oh, that one landed at 700,000. Oh. You think the owner cuckoo one meh? He also know how to do his own math one ma. Okay, with your connections and networks, che, put you up there. Any insightful things about the new budget?
Okay, I can't reveal much, right? Because unfortunately, I'm not Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Hint.
It's all about jobs, right? It's all about jobs. It's going to be quite a positive budget for jobs and economy in general, right? Not very positive budget for property buyers because if you look at the data in 2024, first half, already looking at a record transaction. So there's a possibility 2024 will be the year whereby it's the best ever property transaction year in the history of Malaysia. We are on track of that. So that means from a demand point of view, demand is great, right? Demand is pretty great. So when the demand is great, overhang is reduced, right? There's not much incentive for the government to provide incentives, if you know what I mean. So there will most likely be, this budget, there's no punishment yet. Like RPGT going to go out, be introduced. I'm guessing maximum 36 months from now, you're going to see one already. RPGT coming back. For now, for property, it's neutral. Nothing fantastic, unless you're a first-time home buyer. As usual, your normal incentive. It's the same scheme, they just tukar. Last time this, now Madani, next minister, same shit. Right, just tukar nama saja. Right? But jobs-wise, it's going to be very highly positive. There's a lot of reforms. From a foreign investment point of view, so it's looking quite strong. Johor, obviously, is going to be a very big winner. Very, very big winner. Someone really wants everything to have in Johor, basically. I cannot mention who, but I think you can guess who. You know what I mean? So, you know.
Okay.
I don't want to be blocked from going to Johor. Okay. I'm heading there next week, right? So, yeah.
So there was a question just now from the Captain America gentleman there also about inheritance tax. Okay, we don't know whether it really happen or not.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, 唔使講. Swat, no need to talk.
It might happen in 3 years or 5 years. So it might happen 3 to 5 years, right? But today, not yet. Yeah. Because what you see, from a number of transaction point of view, there's a 20% increase year on year. Last 10 years, never happened, right? So a lot of people looking to buy property. But the value of the property did not go up by 20%. Value of property go up by less than 2%. So a lot of people are buying, but property prices is still sane lah. Bukan gila. Bukan gila babi. Right? So, when you see a double-digit growth year on year on property values, that conversation will happen. Inheritance tax. Or they want to punish people like Sean.
You kena dulu different from Malay and
No. Mine will be offshore. I'm moving towards that already. So, you know.
You see, a different level.
No.
You see why I hustle so hard every day? Not even close.
Hey, I'm an old man. I've gone through 2 property bull run, right? So you've gone through 1, right? So yeah.
I go half. I go through half only. Okay, anyway, so inheritance tax gao dim. A lot of people ask also, Johor, Penang, or KL, if you to buy now?
Johor. Johor. Penang has got no tsunami. KL,
Huh? What? Has
no
got...
tsunami, no external driving factor.
Oh,
So
I
it's
thought
everything.
the physical tsunami, no.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. There's no wave lah, basically, right? Klang Valley is Malaysia wave lah, so Malaysia do very well. Malaysia is going to enter, most likely from my economy point of view, will enter a golden era. Right, so Malaysia going to do quite well 3 to 5 years from now. Right? So Klang Valley naturally will benefit lah, as the capital, right? But Johor has got a one big brother tsunami called Singapore. Right? So I think clients of our capital have seen this data. We did a comparison, right? Hong Kong to Shenzhen, right? The difference of property value is only 2.5 times. Hong Kong versus Shenzhen, right? So that means if the property is worth 1 million in Shenzhen, equivalent property is worth 2.5 million in Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong to Shenzhen got 8 infrastructure to connect. Bridges, LRT, high-speed rail, total got 8 connectivity lah, to get from Hong Kong to Shenzhen. JB Singapore, the difference is 13 times. Okay? So the gap is too big, right? And combined with the fact that, is Singapore a very well-run country or not? Right? Very well run. They will overtake Hong Kong as the finance capital of Asia, if they haven't already. So my prediction for the next 10 years, Singapore property will most likely be comparable to Hong Kong. Today, Singapore versus Hong Kong is double the price. But I don't know whether you have been to Hong Kong or not, and you have been to Singapore. Singapore is a far better country to live and work in. So let's give credit where credit is due. Hong Kong, depressing. I went there in 2009, depressed. Went there again this year, still depressed. Right? Just dark, cold, right? And people are unhappy. Everything is so expensive. Coca-Cola, 10 ringgit, you know. Not so Hong Kong, not great. And if Singapore property value double to match Hong Kong value today, the price point between JB and Singapore becomes 26 times. 26 times, guys. Infrastructure today, you got 2 already built, 1 more on the way, right, which is RTS, 1 more being planned, which is the high-speed rail lah. So remember, Hong Kong, Shenzhen got 8, yeah? JB, Singapore, most likely by end of next year will have 4. We have half of the infrastructure. So to me, the price point of Johor today, moving forward, will most likely no longer be tagged towards Malaysia. It will be tagged towards Singapore. And I think if you use a basic math, right, of you should only stay in Johor if the property price is 1/3, right, out of Singapore, the upside of Johor is very high, right? So that's how I think about Johor property market as of today lah. So if I were to put my money, I can only put my money in one market, that will be Johor.
But I don't think like, okay, everybody like, oh, let's go Johor now. Who is the Johor property agent now? Wow, hot say. No, that's not the point. I think you still need to tie back to the 7 criteria rule. What's the median data? Don't overprice for things, right? Yeah, so like we see a lot of people paying 1,300 per square feet for properties, right?
Yeah. I mean, we do deals, right? And the hardest place to do a deal today is in Johor. Why? too many buyers, too many interests, developers are getting cockier by the day, don't need you. Last time, I remember I met this developer who's got a land bank nearby RTS. Last year, Tan Sri say, okay lah, we can sell the land, we sell. If cannot, no choice, we launch it 800 ringgit per square foot. Last year story, yeah. Fast forward 12 months later, Tan Sri say we are launching at 1,000. The staff say, Tan Sri maximum 1,002. Alright? Tan Sri say, why cannot be 1,004? Bugger, last year 800, Last year, 12 months ago. Today 1,002 and he thinks people are stealing money of him. Yeah. That's Johor.
Okay, how is 2025 going to be like? Like, okay, especially for those who are like trying to save money, trying to get into the game. What is your strategy like if you're a first-time home buyer today?
I think my strategy for the next 12 months, whether first-time home buyer or people looking to invest, first priority is to buy property from developer that was launched pre-COVID. Right? So don't buy new, buy completed property from developer that was launched pre-COVID, before COVID happened. So logic is because, number one, if you buy a pre-COVID property at 600 ringgit per square foot versus buy a completely new property at 600 ringgit per square foot today, the spec of the 600 square foot pre-COVID is much higher compared to a 600 ringgit per square foot today. I mean, you've seen, right? Because the cost of construction, the cost to build a property since COVID has gone up by double digits, easily 20 to 30%. Right? So I would argue that you get better value for money buying a pre-COVID launch property compared to post-COVID. So that's point number one. Point number two, a property bull run is coming. You buy, if you, for example, salary-wise, you make less than 8,000 per month, there's only so much loan that you can get. You buy a primary market property and you get your loan to be stuck on a property which is 3 to 4 years to be completed. You will end the property bull run with one property. But you buy something completed, rent out, next year you can buy one more. Then you repeat. Every 9 months to 12 months, you can buy one. Now, during property bull run, making 200,000, 400,000 gain per property is common. All right, for those who have been to the area. If you own one, you sell one, you made 200,000, you're happy for a while. Then until you realize, I have to buy another property at 300,000 more expensive. Right? So it's called chasing the next peak. All right? That's what happened for a lot of people who lost money. If you own 5, you sell 2, you make 500,000 profit, you still keep 3. Not too bad lah. You can even now begin to launch a property guru class with just 5 property. I can assure you, at that point of time, you will see people 2 property, I'm a property guru. I made 200,000. No? What color is your Land Rover? Right? So, yeah.
Okay. So, just for clarification, right? You see how he speak, right? It's as if you buy, you will not... it's like for sure make money kind of thing, one. That's why everybody, when they listen, right, my greatest concern right now, every time when he speak, right, everybody like, I want to buy now. I want to buy now. Then you go out, and not outside, I didn't say other developers outside, but you just go out and blindly just buy one. Faizul say bull run is coming. You do. Dosa tak beli. Oh, I was not turning Malay also, I not bad. Again, that's why the first question ties back to 7 criteria. His mindset, right, no matter what happens in the cloud, wow, Johor hosei lah, Johor, wow, sure make money, right? It still ties back to what you buy. And it all falls back to steal data, which is the not sexy part. Like this morning, this evening, we just spoke about, Singaporeans buy property, use data. Malaysians buy property, it could feel one. That's the greatest concern. And I was in Johor last time, we just mentioned also where I sell properties at Medini at 1,000 per square feet. And the MC is my partner also. We built development together. And people buy and we sold out one of the office, and we cannot lecture by Tan Sri. Why you give out my property for free, is it? At a price that is higher than Mont Kiara in Bernini where there's nobody. That's why I was a bit too late. Okay, I go home and lecture my father. Okay, this is a little bit more technical. How do you define or how do you draft your exit strategy for properties?
The philosophy we follow has always been, okay, first, context-wise, you have to ask who's my mentor. Do you know who's my mentor? Warren Buffett. Right? So you think I'm a genius, right, for coming out with 7 criteria? No. The 7 criteria was created based on how he looked at companies on what to buy. I just copied the whole damn thing, translate to property. Right? So there's nothing original about what I do. I just took his methodology simply because my mentality, I'm a simple guy, guys. I go to the richest, most successful investor I know, then I try to study his methodology, and then I use it for me. Right? I think that's just the simplest way to learn anything in life. You want to be a billionaire, go and learn from another billionaire. Right? Don't ask from your uncle, who's just a multi-millionaire. Hui, right?
Why must add the last? Okay, we edit out.
Ignore the last part. But so I learned that methodology from him. So his methodology when it comes to buying a company is he tries to buy a wonderful company at the right price point, and he tries to keep it forever. Right? That has always been the best way to make money for him. So obviously, when you translate back to real estate in Malaysia, how does the number transpires? So if you look at the data, average property price growth since 1990 up until today, you roughly make about 450% gains. 450, right? So that means the longer you keep it, the more expensive your property becomes. So time, from a property investor point of view, really works in your favor simply because over time, land cannot be cheaper, the cost to build anything cannot be cheaper, wages cannot be cheaper. So new property price will always be more expensive. Does that make sense? Right? So new property price expensive will drive sub-sale property to also go up higher. Because you see, we had this discussion just now, right? I had a client came to me, very young guy, said, my friend bought 900 ringgit per square foot in Kuantan. Right? He said, I don't know what to say, tell him. I said, tell him, great. While you buy 600 ringgit per square feet, Mont Kiara, right? So, in a way, right, there are a lot more irrational purchasers than rational purchasers. And if you keep the property for as long as possible, you make money 3 ways. You make money from cash flow, you make money from capital gain, you will also make money from your principal repayment that is being repaid. So the game plan here is that you own something which today you bought at 500,000, after 20 years become 1 million, double in value, and someone is paying that property on your behalf. So it's the easiest 1 million you can make if you have the patience. It's a no-brainer. Literally anyone can do it. All you have to do is just be patient for 20 years. Right? So that's the bad news. No property bullrun, you wait 20 years for it to happen. Got property bullrun, it will happen in 5. Right? Maybe max 10 years. I mean, we just did Desa Park City Battle Royal, right? The people who bought Desa Park City in 2009, everyone was negative cash flow for the last 10 years. Then post-COVID rental shot up by 50 to 100%. So that landed property that was negative cash flow in the first 10 years, today is positive cash flow. Guys, do you know how rare it is to go and claim? I own a landed property residential that is positive cash flow. Bloody rare, guys. So time makes every property investor looks good, right? You might be the waterfish who bought Kuantan 900 ringgit per square foot today, but after 20 years, right, it could end up becoming 950 ringgit per square foot. So you make a little bit of money. Right? So, you know, it's 900 per square foot in Kuantan lah. I mean, like, yeah, cannot brain.
Okay. Speaking about Kuantan, no hate for Kuantan, just contoh je. Like, what's your opinion investing local versus abroad? Like, not international, tapi I kat KL, I invest kat Johor, atau I orang Penang, should I invest in KL? Or should you stick to a location that you're familiar with?
I think if you are in one market, you are subject to that one market forces. You know, like I said, Warren Buffett is my mentor, right? Does he invest in only one industry? Not really. Right? Same asset class, which is to buy a company, but multiple industries. Right? So there'll be time by this industry, this particular sector will do well, he benefits. And there'll be time by this particular sector goes to a downturn. So for example, Penang is an emotional market. So why do I say it? Because you cannot quantify how much gain you can get. Right? That is what an emotional market is. Emotional market works in a way whereby I'm buying it because it's rare, and because it's rare, property value sure go up one. Right? Tak banyak tanah dekat Penang. Right? So, a market that is driven largely by emotion rather than yield or jobs being created. Right? So, from a capital gain point of view, it will be quite good. Rental will still be terrible because people don't pay high rent in Penang. Sorry, Penang folks. But you guys are very smart with money. Right? So you don't pay 3,000 per month rental in Penang. Does that make sense? Yeah? Very hard to find in Penang. Right? On the other hand, a rental of 3,000 ringgit per month in Mont Kiara is deemed as cheap. Right? For a one bedroom, 3,000, cheap. Right? So, again, the idea is to buy property, keep it forever, and if you're investing in market which is a little bit more emotional, then your game plan is only one, your exit plan is only one. Yeah, so we like markets whereby you've got multiple exits, and the exit can become predictable because the rental is also predictable.
Okay. Some observation again. He buy property like we buy stock like that. I buy. But I think the tough part is most of us only got one shot, most two, right? And in this lifetime, that is why I'm very obsessed with this platform right now, right? It's so rare to get him. Like, I think that's all for the question. Round of applause for Mr. Faisal first. Right. So, I wish everyone could tap on him, but I think he's doing equal amount of education online. The only part that I'm winning him a little bit is on YouTube only. But he's on also YouTube already right now, so you guys should really go and check out the Battle Royale to really feel bad of how we do research. I think the research team is also here. You see how they do research, right? I will just give up. They have 6 people looking at data of every bloody room, and like 3 bedroom, what's the performance? 2 bedroom, what's the performance? 1 bedroom, what's the performance? Especially the Segambut and Mont Kiara one is mind blowing. Yeah, so that's a glimpse of what you can get on their world. That's why how they make money sure got reason one. Okay, and I will open the floor. Let's do 5 lah. You know,
5 question, no problem.
You know, he later scream at me. Okay.
Any question from the floor? Hey, cannot see.
Or too intensely.
Cannot digest. Any question from the floor? No question?
Wow, also good.
Sana satu. Ada sana satu. Don't shy lah. Your first time come to jam, is it? Ayo. Okay. Where? Yep.
Maybe our discussion is too basic.
Hey guys.
I am sorry.
Basic bitches. No, basic bitch, you know.
Okay, I've got one question. So you said that you have a stock, like a long-term investment approach to it, to holding properties, right? And you said that you wouldn't cash out if you can't. But what have been the circumstances of you selling your properties besides cash flow issues? And have you ever had those reasons to let the property go or to choose to sell?
Okay, so I put it this way. I treat property like a business. Everything is all numbers based, you see. So it's not emotional. Right? People always say, I don't like certain areas. No such thing. If the price is right, I'll buy 100. If the price is wrong, I'll stay away from the area. That's it. Right? So when it comes to exit plan, you also have to remember, just like every other business, your property is a tool. Right? It's just a tool for you. How old are you, brother?
28.
Huh?
28.
28, right?
Yeah.
So you are 28. Are you married?
No.
Not yet. Are you looking to get married?
Yeah.
Okay. So for example,
Please don't go there.
huh?
Where am I going specifically? Where am I going?
Don't go to your... no. Later, Sean pun kena cancel.
So I give you an example, right? I've got, I think, a couple of clients who came to me like in the last 2 months saying, I'm late 20s, I'm looking to get married next year. I'm grateful I joined because now I bought my first property. I took 100,000 cash. Now I own property, which is positive cash flow. And also that 100,000 cash is useful so that I don't have to take any debt when I get married next year. So he didn't buy the property because he really wanted to buy a property. He bought the property because, well, I'm about to get married. It's a good idea as a man to own a property, yes? Right? Because property ownership, if you get married, normally, again, it's the responsibility of a man. Right? So, man, you know, you come and propose someone's daughter, first thing they will ask, parent, what do they ask, guys?
What do you do?
What do they ask, guys? If you are a man, right? What does your future in-law will ask?
What do you do for a living?
Huh?
Mic test.
Pakai kereta apa?
Mic test.
Second,
Mic test.
dah ada rumah ke belum? Betul tak, guys? Right?
Mic test.
That's how they judge whether you are capable or not as a man. Your ability to procure resources. Bukan materialistic. You nak jaga anak orang. Does that make sense?
Mic test.
So property at the end of the day is a tool. Okay? So I got asked, why did I start buying properties, right? I told them, I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Right? Got scammed by the book. Right? Fucking naive, right? But the book basically says, I only read one book in my life at that point of time, so that was the book, right? And the book says, if you want to be rich, there's only two ways. You either become an investor or a business owner. If you're an employee, self-employed, you will never be rich. That's what the book says, right? So I just decided to go and do that. I bought property because I want to become an investor. I want to become a business owner one day, right? So I sold, I think, about 11 property at the, all the way from beginning all the way to the height of the property bullrun. I made about 2 million net profit, which LHDN basically say, thank you. I'm going to take 500,000, right? Despite RPGT, because I do it too frequent, it becomes a business transaction, right? So pro tip here, don't sell more than 2 properties. Sorry, don't sell property predictably, like a business, you understand? Ideal, every 2 years you sell one. If you make it look like you sell one a year, they'll come and say, here's the business tax that you have to pay. So I have to pay 500,000 additional. So I made 2 million. I paid 500,000 back to LHDN, unfortunately, right? I used 500,000 to start a business. I used about 200,000 to go for holiday and for family purposes, right? So while I'm a big believer in buying to keep because that's how much you make the most amount of money, right? But you only have one life. If you have a goal that you want to go, just remember that property is just a tool. Okay? The best thing I have done with property was that, on top of selling a bunch of property to start FAR Capital, was actually to sell a property to fund a Umrah holiday with my father. Right? After we got into an accident, he nearly died because of heart attack. I nearly died because of motor accident in 24 hours. I realized what a loser I would have been if I didn't bring my father to go see Umrah, to do Umrah. So I decided then there, half dead, that day, I'm going to sell a bunch of property, go Umrah, and brought my whole family to go for holiday. Next year, he's passed away.
Sorry for your loss.
As a son, do I feel sad with his passing? Yes. I'm also very proud that I was able to go and do that for him. Right? The feeling of, old men, they don't go and tell your son, I love you and whatnot. No? And the only time he said that to me was in Madinah. So I will never forget it for the rest of my life. So, woo! Gentlemen, ladies, always remember, money, property is just a tool. No point you saving up, kedekut like shit, but your family suffer. Right? Don't be slave by money. It's just possession. If you have to sell it, to pay for your mother's or father's medical bill, do it lah, guys. They're not going to be here forever. You can always make money back, You cannot buy time. Right? So always remember, property, money is just a tool. You get to where you want to be, you want to fire your boss, unless you are my staff, so you do. This is not for you, right?
Okay,
right?
tutup telinga, tutup.
Right? But you do what you like at the end of the day. If you want to start that business, you do it. And you can do it if you have 200,000, 300,000 sitting in your bank account because you invested wisely 5 years ago. So always remember, property is just a tool. You make more when you keep it forever, but if you have a need to go and sell it, to start a business, Umrah, do it. Do you. No hard and fast rule.
Hey, all right. Love it. Second question. Anyone?
Right, in the front. In the front.
Run, hand. Run. I'm tired already.
Hi, thank you so much. Encik Faisal. So I was very
Oh,
interested.
Encik Faisal Ni Sean je tau. Sorry, kecil hati pula.
I'm blushing now, but you cannot see it because I'm brown.
Sorry.
Okay, I really like the exit strategy that Encik Sean asked just now. So this is a question actually, maybe I'm asking on behalf of my parents. So they bought properties 20, 30 years ago, and it's in a prime location near KLCC. Unfortunately, over 20, 30 years now, the condominiums near KLCC is a very old condominium, and they held it for a very long tenure, but the price has remained quite stagnant now, I think, for the past 10 years. So in respect to holding properties, then when you say that maybe holding it for a long tenure, then how does it apply to condominiums, and would it be different from a landed property, freehold, and in this case it's actually a freehold condominium, but because there are so much developments around it, I'm very, very interested to know about the exit strategy for this particular property and in general. Thank you.
Okay. So, the people always ask me, right, what happens if there's a property bubble, right? And I always reply that property bubble has already happened the last 15 years, but it's not a nationwide bubble, right? So it's always subject to the respective locality. So KLCC is a victim of property bubble in the last, I would say, almost 20 years. Okay? And as a result of a property bubble, you've got an oversupply situation, right? Oversupply situation. And that has caused the price to not only went stagnant, but actually dropped by quite a fair bit, right? So that's what KLCC problem is, right? So the biggest problem about KLCC here is the usage, right? Who should stay there? Who wants to stay there? And the reality here for KLCC property is not the best of areas. So I can think of as of today, can we make an argument as of today, if I were to ask people to vote, which one is a better area for the same price point? SS2 versus KLCC, majority will vote KLCC, right? Better area lah. But SS2 property has made far more money than KLCC in the last 20 years, right? And as of today, if you look at condos like Amira or Five Stones, right? Or the equivalent of that, or Ken 2 and Ken 3, right? You'll find out that this property is actually more expensive from a per square foot point of view than many KLCC properties, largely because of the oversupply. And number two here is that there's no real logical population who should stay there. Then you also have a problem of cannibalization. So you have weak demand, weak actual user, right? And then you got people cannibalizing from older property to go to newer property at the same price point, cheaper. I think we did Battle Royale for KLCC, and we did compare it to a Cyber Jaya student housing. So people swap from newer condo, and after the condo is old, they go to the newer condo in KLCC. So it's similar. Because no one wants to stay in KLCC long term. So that's the biggest problem for KLCC. Right? So again, if you deploy 7 criteria, the outcome of KLCC property becomes a lot more predictable. Right? I bought KLCC, I only own 2 units in KLCC. Right? As an investor, and I no longer own it post-divorce. No? It went from 700 per square foot to peak about 1,002, today it's about 900. So that's what has happened basically in the last 10 years. So, again, coming back to the question, KLCC area good or bad? It depends on what you buy. Johor can be good if you know what you are buying, you buy at the right time. But if you ask anyone who's bought Johor in the last 10 years, they will tell you terrible. Like terrible, terrible, terrible. No one makes money in Johor. Maybe like 99% of the time people lost money. So similarly, when it comes to KLCC and areas like this, you have to be quite sensitive about the demand. Right? I would argue that any time, for example, the area, this is how you spot oversupply. Number one, when supply is built by more than 3,000 units a year for a couple of consecutive years, which what happened in KLCC, number one. Number two, the people who buy are not buying for own stay. Right? You can have like M Vertica, high density, but doing very well simply because 80% of the people who buy are actually buying for own stay. It's the cheapest thing you can own in Maluri. So, 4,000 units, almost single development, pretty decent rental because not a lot of units available for rent. Why? A lot of people want to stay there. Cheap, convenient, good. Alright? So price has gone up also steadily simply because the number of units available for sale also quite low. Right? In fact, one can argue between staying in KLCC versus staying in Maluri, it is actually better for the local to stay in Maluri for the same rental. Yeah? Accessibility to mamak food, local food, all easy lah. KLCC, your mamak also is a 30 ringgit punya mamak, you know. Right? The kayu and whatnot. So KLCC unfortunately does not have the support of the local population. So everyone buys for trophy purchase, everyone buys for investment. So when there's no real users staying there long term, you have a carousel of tenants, carousel of buyers. Right? Like for example, one residency, right? Until today, the only condo in KLCC with private swimming pool. Price didn't move up after 15 years. Right? So that's the problem for KLCC. Now, I've got good news for you. If Malaysia enters a golden era for the next 5 years, which I think there's a very strong possibility, just wait for budget. Right? KLCC will be hot again. Because if you are a foreigner, because now Malaysia golden era means there's a lot of foreign interest. Foreign interest, they're not going to go Kota Damansara, Rawang, I'm going to stay here, no. Right? Only limited area. Desa Park, KLCC, Bukit Bintang, Mont Kiara. It's going to revolve around these three areas. So this area, significant beneficiary. So KLCC, in my opinion, has got a better opportunity to outperform Desa Park City in the last 10 years. Because after 20 years of losing, it's like Liverpool, no? Finally, golden era is about to come. So,
Yeah, so I think this question, if come 10 years ago, then maybe you want to exit first because you will have better opportunity cost and things like that. But I think now we are too close. Just imagine if HSR announced this budget and you just sell yesterday.
But you see, this is what I thought during my flight, right? There's a lot of things which is luck. For example, Malaysia, from an economic cycle point of view, was supposed to enter property bullrun 2019. By right. Because that's when the HSR is supposed to be built. But BN lost. So the project got cancelled. The Catalyst project for Malaysia got cancelled. Then we got COVID. Right? So it's very easy to go and say, we could have predicted this, but the reality here is that if you have change of a government, then suddenly policy changes, all of that will affect investment, especially for areas which is international areas like KLCC. Right? So if you want to make it predictable, buy local area. Right? So areas like KLCC, it very much depends on international interests, which I think is going to happen in the next 5 years. So you go from the biggest loser in the last 10, 15 years to potentially even a 3,000-4,000 per square foot. So I'm not discounting for KLCC.
Then if you own a project that is already bleeding every month, okay lah, I almost swear, okay, I waterfish lah, I go and buy above median, now my rental cannot make it, second-hand price is lower, do you sell off on exit?
No. Bullrun is coming. Means there's a lot of people who are naive like you is going to enter the market.
Look for another waterfish?
Yes.
A bigger one?
So
Okay.
there's going to be, you were a sucker to bought it at the price point. So you have to wait for another sucker to come in. Right? So don't worry. This new bullrun, you're going to have a few 100,000 of new suckers coming in. Look, unfortunately, it sounds cruel, but the reality is that wealth is always going to be transferred from people who understood the rule of the game, who has the knowledge, to people who don't, right? So it's always going to be that, right? The suckers is going to lose their pants overpaying for certain things because they thought it will always go up in value. Today, you are at the beginning, cannot comprehend yet. But for us, it's like, okay lah. We've seen it, transaction now move up by 20% a year, it's here. The bull is here. Next year, you will see more than anything between a 5 to 7% property price increase. That's my prediction for 2025. So you lose money, keep it, you want to sell it 2 to 3 years from now. Yeah?
Tahan a bit.
Bit more, guys. Already suffer for 10 years. Just 2 more years. Yeah.
Lai?
All right. Third question. Oh,
Yeah.
suddenly so many people asking now.
Never mind lah, you second later, chop you first, chop.
Okay, just now it's about KLCC. What do you think about Bukit Jalil? And what do you think about the Admiralty Park? Is a real stuff or is a bullshit?
Sorry, what? Can you repeat again?
Admiralty Park.
M what?
What's that?
Admiralty Park at Bukit Jalil.
Oh, Meranti Park.
Oh.
Oh, the whole area all empty one.
Nothing concrete to become a game changer. All right? We are going to do Bukit Jalil, Battle Royal, next week. Right? So we're going to cover extensively Bukit Jalil. But Bukit Jalil has been remarkable I would say, right? The demand for new property over there is very strong. Prices are really not cheap, right? Sean loves Bukit Jalil,
Okay.
right? So rental, however, is still quite far away from becoming tier 1 because part of the rationale of becoming a tier 1 area is that rental of 5,000 per month is common, right? So Mont Kiara has that, Bangsa has that, KLCC has that, Bukit Bintang, the Sepak City now have that. Bukit Jalil average rental is still about 3, even for newer property, right? So it'll still be a long time because even to break 4,000 barrier, Bukit Jalil is very hard, right? So I think the biggest catalyst is not Meranti Park. So I think the biggest catalyst for Bukit Jalil, I don't know whether you agree with this, is the fact that it's going to become a health, village. I think that would be the biggest catalyst for Bukit Jalil.
We just got invitation to visit.
Yeah.
Wellness. I didn't say anything. Okay, wellness only. Okay. So, but, okay.
That one got more bite than the Meranti bit. Meranti bit is government driven, right? So anything government driven, you just take it with a pinch of salt, right? Private sector driven, because there's money to be made, that's where the motivation is.
But Bukit Jalil to me is, I think the same theory where we did Desa Park City, we did all these addresses of tier 1s, right? I noticed Ampang is the existence of old money. Your parents in OUG, children stay where? Right? That's like the Ampang one, the Ampang story, the landed Ampang houses, also bloody expensive. All stay where? Next door. Yeah, so I just think of that really. Because actually Bukit Jalil actually very atas one.
Yeah.
You actually see way more alphats than Myvis.
I mean, we entered Bukit Jalil 4 years ago, and we entered about 400 ringgit per square foot. So fringes of Bukit Jalil, not prime Bukit Jalil, Bukit Jalil big, right? So fringes 400 ringgit per square foot. That property doing very well. Everyone made above 100,000 gains, right? From 420,000 all the way to now 550, 560 average. Rental very healthy. We are about to again enter second project today. Again, not Bukit Jalil proper, but fringes of Bukit Jalil. Also below 600 ringgit per square foot. Right? So at the right price point, we enter anything. At the wrong price point, we just see lah. Well done. 900 per square foot, well done. Got a lot of people pay 900 ringgit per square foot Bukit Jalil, right? But Sean didn't. So be like Sean.
Okay, Lai, brother.
Hi, good evening. Okay, buying a property is not easy lah, but keeping a property with cash flow is quite a challenging too. Like especially like the BKL authority now. I know like in order to increase the cash flow, we have to do some magic in the unit itself. So now
what magic?
I mean like
black, brown, white magic.
We add additional rooms like partition rooms in the unit itself, just to pump up the cash flow to cover up the rental lah. So now the authority are come in and say that these are illegal and so on. So mind to share what the strategies that probably is how to handle or tackle this in terms of investor point of view, or because we hold it for long term. If it's a keep strategy, we have to sustain the cash flow. And no point we bleed every month. My question is this. Thank you.
I think both me and Sean can agree to this lah. Just don't buy low-cost housing for investment, right? So that's point number 1 lah. If you're talking about DBKL housing, right? So just don't buy.
No. I think he mean DBKL, meaning all properties in KL,
right?
That they cannot make money unless you turn the living room into another extra room.
Right. So that's point number 1, right? Don't buy anything low cost, anything controlled like Rumah Whip, none of it, right? So now coming back to the question, if you add partition is the only way that you can make money, then the argument here is that property is not a good property, right? So if you're talking about long term, the game plan should still be you buy at below market value. And let's say, for example, if the only way you can get to break even is by adding 1 or 2 partition, that to me, I would say is the wrong property in the first place. You overpaid, right? So the concept of far capital is different. What we're trying to do here is that regular renter can get break even or not, right? So that's the key thing, right? So if regular renter cannot get break even, let's not even look at it, let's not even consider. When you add rooms and when you do Airbnb, you are supposed to get more. Ngamo? Right? So the basic property must get break even first. Then if you add more room, then you make additional 1,000. You take a bit more risk, you do a bit more work, you make a bit more money. Right? But if you are buying a property whereby the only way you can get to break even is to add 2 more rooms, or the only way to make money is to do Airbnb, that, brother, to me, is simply put, it's not the right property. Right? It's already at the wrong price per square foot. Yeah. If you have to go do that to get to break even, it's the wrong property. Right? If you can break even already, but you add more rooms or do Airbnb, then you make additional money, it's a different story. Right?
But on that same note, I think it's a lesson for everybody here. I think he simply bluntly put, right, if you were to qualify a property for purchase is via extra room and Airbnb, right? Meaning it's not well ready. And if I were to give you GRR just to guarantee your purchase, it's a red flag already, right? Then, oh, this one only Airbnb can make you extra 5,000. So we kind of discussed this a lot. Airbnb, anything also make money one. Why must, so it's like that last cut I put, right? So how we categorize good investment is MRO, multiple rental option, like what he taught, right? I go long term, I stay myself, I go room by room until the end, really cannot really, only I add room. If that is your first strategy, right? Oh, the only way to do this is Airbnb, so I make money, wrong move already. And the same thing like for DBKL, in 1 week, he straight away announced no more room partition. The same can happen for Airbnb. And it can happen in multiple level. Means, YB nga don't like it. Right? So, no more lo, like Penang no more lo. Gone case, all gone case. If the management don't like it, also gone case. So that's the risk. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. Sorry, agents. But if the first thing is an Airbnb plan, yeah, so I think the solution is if you are holding then, wait 2 years, 3 years later for a bigger water fisher. Right? So if you want to exit now also, yeah, I think it's tough. Everybody use that to maximize more. Great.
That's how developers sell 900 ringgit per square foot in Kuantan. Airbnb, 80% occupancy rate, no down, 500 ringgit positive cash flow every month. Wow. Kena scam already.
And people still buy. After the GRR one, I dare not go up Genting already. If you watch my GRR video, or you never watch it. Okay.
Yeah.
No wonder you buy wrong, no lah. Okay. Hi.
Any more question? One more?
Yeah, one more.
Last.
Okay. One more.
Last, all right.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I just have questions regarding my rental properties as well. So currently I own a few rental properties that I manage on my own. Compared to the monthly installment, I'm still positive. But then I think I am absorbing too much on the utilities, cleaning fees and such. So I think I'm being a very nice landlord. It's just that I think at few years to come, I think I'll be at loss because the cost has been going up, even though the rental installment is still bearable. So do you think at this point of time, I should change my strategy in terms of not subsidizing my tenant anymore, just with the intention to retain good tenants?
You are subsidizing your tenant?
I'm not not subsidizing my tenant, I'm subsidizing the costs that come with the rental, meaning I absorb the utilities, the cleaning and such. It's still positive, but the positive too is not that much. You know what I mean? But in the near future, I think all costs will jack up, so I'll be at loss or not even break even. So do you think I should be staying to be a good landlord by giving everything to them? But in return, I actually able to get 100% occupancy rate and all tenants does not give any headache to me. So I think that's good. But I'm not sure whether that will be a good strategy in the next few years.
You go first.
I mean, it sounds like you have a pretty decent scenario. You're not negative cash flow, right? But after taking into consideration all of the additional cost of property ownership, it's negative. But I think you should really measure properly against, you have to knock off the principal which is being paid, right? So if you do that, I suspect you are still going to be quite positive cash flow, even after you have taken all of these costs into consideration. So that's point number one. So point number two is that you got capital reduction from your loan. Number three here is that you're going to have capital gain. So the beauty about property ownership is that you make money three ways: cash flow, capital gain, capital reduction, right? So while the last two has not appeared in the last couple of years, it's soon to have. So, and of course, if you're talking about changing your strategy, my suggestion is to not, because the power of focus is, it doesn't look great. You see, I didn't make much money in my first 5 years of property ownership. All the wealth came in the 6 to 10 years, right? So I think there's value in holding, right? Continuing, doing what is familiar. Yeah, that would be my take.
I want to know where's your unit so I can rent from you. So kind one, landlord. Wow. I think first of all, congratulations on multiple ownership of properties. I think that's awesome. And yeah, wow. So okay lah. So it's like a scenario where this this tenant very kind, every month pay on time for the past 5 years. Then should I increase his rent or not? Right? So it's like what if I increase? If it's orang jahat, don't want to bayar, then like wasted, nobody knows one. But what's real is now I'm bleeding. So do you want to take that risk? But what if you revise, it's good, even a better one? Don't know one, so we are just playing with unknowns. And what's the worst thing now? Tenancy agreement all 1 year one ma. Don't like change lah. But so good, like you clean your units, you curi tangkap gambar, monitor them, right? Hey, that's one very effective tool. A lot of people worry that the unit don't know what the tenant doing, right? Give free cleaning. Free cleaning means what? Free access. Nothing free on this one, right? Okay, this free lah, this one free, really, this one free lah. Okay, I shoot myself in the head. Okay, again, that's all for the time we have. Thank you again, Mr. Encik Faizal.
Right, give it up to Encik Faizal Rizwan. Thank you so much for being together with us.
Yeah. Can I announce special campaign for you guys?
Sorry?
Can I announce our special campaign for you guys?
Oh yeah, please.
All right.
Right. A lot of people ask us how to buy property from Far Capital without becoming a Far Cap client, because a lot of people don't want to pay, cheapskates. Anyway, we decided to create a campaign whereby we're going to help pay for 100 people down payment for your property. Right? 100 people. Right? So campaign is going to be starting from 15th of October, right? Which is going to be 3 days from now, all the way until end of November. Right? For you guys, you get a 3-day head start. Right? So we've got free screening there. And the team will basically give you the link for you guys to join the campaign. Like I said, if you are the top 100 winners, we're going to pay for the down payment for your property. And some guys will have even their furnishing costs covered for your next property purchase. So especially for you guys, you got a 3-day head start. So with that,
All the best. Thank you.
Walao.
You always spoil market one eh. Last time become member is damn expensive one eh.
Oh.
Now you're getting kinder and kinder like. No, okay, good for you all, okay? You all please go and leverage the thing, okay? Angry lah, okay?
All right, thank you very much once again. Give it up to our panelists for today, Sean and Mr. Faisal. Got promo. So now we are not the end of the carnival yet because we still gonna loiter around 1 more hour or so. So those who wants to speak to the panelists, you can do so. You want to hang out at the booth, and if you want to tapao coffee, Bean Shipper offer tapao services, right? All right, thank you. We are going to hang out with you again, and yeah, see you soon. Right.